Welcome back, everyone. As usual, we are two dudes talking 80s. I'm John. That's my partner in crime, Lewis.
Hello.
Why the delay? To keep me on edge here?
No, I think we could have a bad network connection.
Oh, okay. Well, cool. So I'll be talking to myself most of the time. Um, so hey, it was great hanging out with you last weekend. We had a show, but we actually had recorded it we went before I went to meet up and hang out with you, and got to see Santa Cruz, which was amazing. Home of the Lost Boys, and yeah, it was a good time. Thanks for hosting.
Yeah. Oh, you're welcome, man. It was a blast to have you here. And yeah, bumming around the city in Santa Cruz were definitely very memorable. So yeah, thanks for coming out. Always great to have you here.
Nothing was more memorable than going into a guitar center and running into the gentleman that taught me classical guitar 35 years ago. So yes, that was an 80s reference. And kind of crazy to see him. Still amazing. Man, was he playing beautifully.
Super, super cool, man. Just the odds of that happening. And yeah, that was absolutely momentous. Just super cool.
Yeah, that's in the intro. That's who I put my picture with, was with him. So if you see that, that was my guitar teacher at the College of San Mateo back in, oh my God, like 1987, 1988. Wow, long time ago. Anyway, but getting back to the present, well, actually the past, because we're only talking about the past. One of the things the 80s had was some amazing, amazing soundtracks. You think of the Karate Kid, Top Gun, Back to the Future, Ghostbusters. You can go on and on and on. Valley Girl, and phenomenal, phenomenal soundtracks. But what we're going to focus on instead of, most of those soundtracks are known for a couple songs, right? You say Top Gun, and automatically you think Take My Breath Away by Berlin. We're going to talk about some of those hidden gems that are on those soundtracks that people may just overlook, may not even be very prominent in the movie, but man, they're great songs, and hopefully we'll turn you on to some of them. So, Lewis, you look cold. Um, so why don't you go ahead and start us off before your teeth start chattering?
Excellent. Well, being that you started with Top Gun, I'm going to go ahead and continue with Top Gun. So, as you'd mentioned, it's very well known for Take My Breath Away or, Kenny Loggins' The Danger Zone. And Lana, Danger Zone, you have to know the cartoon in order to get that one. Anyhow, one of the songs that was on there, I had no clue, no clue. It was like I was doing research today and I saw that there was a tune on there by Cheap Trick.
I hate you.
And I don't remember the tune. It's like, holy crap, are you kidding me? So yeah, it's Mighty Wings by Cheap Trick. Excellent tune. Oh my God. I have to go and download it. It reeks 80s. It's really rock, almost glam metalish. Very cool tune. Very, very cool tune. High energy. And I don't know where they used it in the movie, but I could see where it would fit in a lot of different places.
Well, I hate you because that was my first choice because I absolutely love that song. I didn't discover it yesterday. And I even wore the shirt and to be kind of give it away, but thanks, dude. Appreciate it. No, you're right. That song is fantastic. I listen to it all the time. I don't remember it being very prominent in the movie. I don't even remember where in the movie it was. I'll have to go back and check it out. But oh, you're right. It is such a great song, and probably up there with the best things they did in the 80s for Cheap Trick. I think it stands up to anything else. Like you said, it was kind of a heavier thing, like a power pop, if you want to say glam metal, whatever you want to call it, but it definitely went against most of their hits in the 80s, which were, more ballads and whatnot. But that song's fantastic. So
Yeah.
good call. All right, well, fine. I don't think I had that much. Thank God I have at least one extra one. So I'm gonna stick with Top Gun. And there's another song on there that you never hear. It's absolutely fantastic, and that's "Hot Summer Nights" by Gloria Stefan and the Miami Sound Machine. Um, just a great, great song. If you listen to it, it's a little bit, again, I don't know what they were doing on that Top Gun soundtrack, because a lot of these artists that weren't really known for their really up tempo stuff, were doing this really up tempo stuff. And I remember going to I think getting lunch one time when I worked at ABI in the 80s, and a young lady that I went to lunch with was actually playing the soundtrack in her car. And I remember going, wow, I don't really remember that song in the movies, but man, that's a fantastic song. And it's one of Miami Sound Machines or Gloria Stefan's best songs. So absolutely recommend Hot Summer Nights.
I'll have to give that a listen because I don't remember how that goes at all. I'll tell you, I was completely shocked and blown away when I saw Cheap Trick was on there. I was like, I had no idea. And then when I went and listened to it, it's like, oh my God, yeah, I agree. That's probably one of their best songs from the 80s. Absolutely.
So good, you stole it from me and you just discovered it yesterday.
Today,
Oh, today.
a few hours ago.
Uh, the one time your research comes back to bite me in the butt. All right, cool. What else you got for me there?
It's your turn.
No, I just did Hot Summer Nights,
Oh, you just
stupid.
had some nice.
Then you start talking about Cheap Trick again. I'm like, okay, I don't
Oh,
know where we went with that.
all right. I'm gonna go with one from the Lost Boys. It came out in 1987, and it's actually a cover. I had no idea, and I don't remember where it was in the movie. It's a cover of "Don't Let the Sun Go Down," originally done by Elton John and written by Elton John and Bernie Taupin. Nice, excellent. And it was a cover done by Roger Daltrey, and it's actually a really good cover. And again, it was one of those things that I just discovered a few hours ago. Super surprised to hear that he was even on it, that he was doing this solo cover of it, and he pulls it off really well. It's a really good cover.
I agree with that. I love all the songs on the Lost Boys soundtrack. That's a really good one. Again, shocking to hear it and that it was on there, but that's actually a good pick. It's even better. You know why? Because it wasn't one of mine. So let's see. I'm gonna go to a movie from 1980. It's much maligned, as it should be, because it's really freaking awful. But the soundtrack is great, and that movie is Xanadu.
Nice.
Olivia Newton-John, Michael Beck, Gene Kelly, and what I believe was his last role ever. And then you think Xanadu, you think this title track, Olivia Newton-John, you think Magic by Olivia Newton-John. The song I'm thinking of is All Over the World by ELO. Um, how they got ELO on this soundtrack, I will never know, but it's a fantastic song. So much better than the movie deserves, but no one ever talks about that song. I don't even know if I've seen ELO in concert once, and I don't remember if they played it. They might have. I don't quite remember. But again, a great song. If you like ELO, you like their type of music, give that one a listen. It doesn't get the love it deserves, and again, it's a really great hidden gem on the Xanadu soundtrack. But just listen to the soundtrack. Do not watch the movie. I implore you. And if you do, don't blame me. I warned you.
Lou, not channel 3. Lou, not channel 3. Um, yeah, that's a good pick. I am trying to think of how it goes. I know I've heard it before. I recently, when I say recently, within the last year, bought ELO's greatest hits because I remember listening to them on the radio, and when their tunes came on, it's like, man, it's just such a great high energy band. So I bought it, but I can't remember if that tune is on, and I'll have to go back and listen. The title sounds super familiar, though.
Yeah, it fits with their catalog, but just an absolutely great song. Like I said, much better than the movie deserves. But there are fans of the movie. I apologize. I actually, when I went to the Hollywood show to meet the cast of the Warriors and get a photo with them, there were people that were taking photos with Michael Beck wearing Xanadu shirts. Why I'll never know. But hey,
That's awesome.
each their own, and I just God, that's a bad movie. But anyway, I digress.
All right, let's see which one want to go with next here. I am going to go with Pretty in Pink. So a lot of people remember If You Leave by the Psychedelic Furs. I'm sorry, yeah, If You Leave by OMD and Pretty in Pink by the Psychedelic Furs. One tune again that I wasn't aware was on the soundtrack until about a couple of hours ago was Wouldn't It Be Good, right? written by Nick Kershaw. However, it's not performed by Nick Kershaw in this rendition of it. It's performed by Danny Hutton Hitters. Who is Danny Hutton Hitters? He is the lead singer of Three Dog Night. And
Wow.
I don't know why that they pulled him in to do this remake of what's already an awesome song, but I'll tell you what, man, he does justice to it. The song is just different enough for you to notice that it's different, but it retains a lot of the same characteristics and the feel to it, and his voice fits really, really well. So again, sort of a discovery this morning. I'm already a huge fan of the song, and to know that there's this other version of it out there was just icing on the cake.
First off, I'm in complete shock. The amount of research you've done for this is pretty incredible. Thank you for that. Um, I knew wouldn't it be good was in the song you were going to come up with. That's why I raised my hand. I knew it was coming, but totally forgot that it's not the Nick Kershaw version. So very interesting. I haven't seen that movie in a while, but yeah, that is a great song, and I'm gonna have to go back and check it out because obviously I'm very familiar with the Nick Kershaw version, but I'm not familiar with the gentleman from Three Dog Night performing it. So I'll have to go back and check it out.
Cool.
Um, so the next one I'll go to is one of my all-time favorite movies. Came out in 1984, and talk about one-hit wonders. The song it's known for mostly is "You're the Best" by Joe Esposito, and of course I'm talking about the Karate Kid. Um, you hear "You're the Best" around, and you see them fighting in the ring and or on the mats and whatever, and it's immediately the imagery it conjures. And then of course Survivor was on the soundtrack as well. But the song I'm talking about is a from a band called Commuter, and it's a song called Young Hearts. And it's one of my favorite songs on that soundtrack. It's such a good song. It's actually played during the montage when they're at golf and stuff. And I try to find out something about Commuter, and boy, there's not a lot. I guess it's the brainchild of a gentleman named Dave Miranda, and I couldn't find anything else about this guy. I guess he wrote the song, and there's some rumor that Clive Davis had heard him and signed him to an 8 album deal with Arista Records.
Wow.
But I can't find anything else about him other than that he was the guy that composed and produced "Young Hearts" on the Karate Kid soundtrack. But it's one of those things. Yeah, it's kind of like similar to Joe Esposito. It's just one of those songs that's fantastic. You never heard of this person again. You never heard of the band Commuter. You never heard of this guy. At least I haven't. And apparently the internet hasn't either. Man, I couldn't find much. But what a great song, and it fits. It fits the movie like a glove. It's just perfect. It just seems like one of those, summer when you're young and enjoying golf and stuff. See what I did there? Little plug there. Send the paycheck to me.
I'll have to go and give that a listen. Commuter. I've never heard of that band ever.
If you've seen the movie, you'll recognize immediately the song. And and "Cruel Summer" was on there by Bananarama. So there's a lot of good songs on there, but again, that's just one of those weird, obscure artists that you never really remember, but they're on there, and it's a great song. So give it a listen.
Excellent, excellent. My next one is from a rather obscure movie that I think most people probably have not heard of. I certainly didn't remember it at all until 2 hours ago. The movie is called Teacher. Came out in 1984, and it sounds like you maybe recognize it.
Oh yeah, with Nick Nolte and Ralph Macchio.
Yes, and Judd Hirsch from Taxi.
Mm.
And yeah, had a lot of big star names in it. Came out in 1984, and there was a band called 38 Special that created a song for that movie called Teacher Teacher, which I had completely forgotten about. As soon as they started to play it on YouTube, it's like, oh yeah, I remember this one. But it's not one that you hear very much anymore on the radio. So I thought that that was completely worthy of pulling into our little foray here.
Ooh, foray.
Foray.
Um, 30 for those that haven't watched Reacher, there's a very funny scene in the TV show Reacher, where the detective is taking Reacher and another officer on a road trip, and he says, "I hope you like 38 Special." And she's like, "Ha!" And she's like, "Oh, you're not kidding." And they're driving to 38 Special, and they both look annoyed. And it's like, I hate that scene because 38 Special is awesome. I actually remember seeing that movie, so I remember the movie. I don't remember it very well. I remember that song, and I saw them in concert, probably like 2018, 2019, and they still perform that song in concert.
Nice. It's a
Yeah,
good tune, man.
it's a really good song. I mean, especially a song you have to name after a movie called Teacher. So it kind of limited you in what you could talk about, but they did a great job with it. And Don Barnes is just a great singer. I always laugh because does anyone? I think it was Hit Parader. Hit Parader used to have artists review other singles of other artists and put their comments. And I'll never forget. I think it was Riot. How I remember this kind of stuff, and I forget like important things. I think it was a couple of the guys from Riot were reviewing singles of other artists, and
Mm.
one of the singles was a 38 Special song, and they said Don Barnes had a great voice or something, and they said we don't know what Johnny Van Zant does in that band except pretend he knows how to hold the bar chord in the videos. It's true because Johnny Van Zant, I mean, this brother of the late great Ronnie Van Zant from Leonard Skinner, never sang any of their hits. It was always Don Barnes, and I think Don Barnes is the only original member that still tours with them. But great song, great vocalist, and yeah, good pick, and very
Thank you.
obscure. That's what happens when you do research. You come up with gems. Look at that. This next one is a movie that came out in 1985. It was the third sequel to an Academy Award winning picture, and we're talking about Rocky Four. So you hear Rocky Four, right? And automatically you're thinking Burning Heart by Survivor, Living in America by James Brown. But the song I'm talking about is, again, Robert Topper, that very rock and roll kind of name. And he sings a song on it. There's no easy way out. No easy way out is
I remember that. I
Yes,
remember that.
this is playing when Stallone is in his car. You probably remember the car. All I remember is it's black and it looked fast. And he's driving around thinking about the fight with Drago and what happened to Apollo and Mickey dying. And this is going on, and you'd see his face staring. God, I hope he's wearing driving gloves. I'll have to go back and watch that. I really do. I think he did though in that. And he's driving around and thinking about it, and this song is playing over and over. Well, just playing, I guess. But it's a fantastic song, and I for the longest time I thought it was his brother Frank Stallone that did the song, but no, it's Robert Tepper. And don't ask me anything else about Robert Tepper because that's it. That's what I got for you. So I did. Again, when I was like, crap, that's not Frank Stallone, I was out.
I think that Stallone was driving a Lamborghini Jalpa, if I'm not mistaken. I'll have to go back and check it out.
That's what I thought too. Yeah,
But I totally remember.
you have driving gloves.
Uh, I don't remember if he had driving gloves. I don't remember, but I remember him being sitting in very seriously, very serious expression on his face, and that song comes on. So yeah, I'll have to go back and see if he's wearing driving gloves.
And more importantly, did the Lamborghini have nitrous?
I'm sure it did not.
All right.
Let's see. My last pick was a song that when it came out, I really didn't like it. And only when, I don't know, maybe a couple of years back that I heard it on the radio again, that I sort of listened to it with fresh ears and thought, this actually isn't so bad. It's from the movie Batman. It's by Prince, called The Bat Dance, or just Bat Dance rather. And he had his girlfriend Anna Garcia, and again, I couldn't find anything else on her after I guess she did this song with him, but she guest vocaled with him on the tune. I don't remember that at all. I'll have to go back and listen to it. But I just remember it being this mishmash of like movie samples and a lot of his own samples, and it was something that I didn't latch onto when it first came out. Listening back to it and listening to it now, it's like, yeah, it's sort of cool. You can still hear Prince in it, but it's different. I can't say that I like it totally. It's like amazing, but it's definitely one of those songs that that you don't really hear on the radio anymore. And it's very creative. I'll have to give him that.
All right. I'm gonna have to get you a shirt that says "I can't say I really like it" or whatever you just said. It was fantastic. I got to get that quote. Um, I hated that song. I absolutely hated that song then. I hate it now. I will always hate that song. I didn't even really care for the movie. I remember being so excited about Batman coming out, and then it was the Joker. Um, and I guess villains are always tend to be more interesting, but I didn't like the movie, didn't like the song, and that's a horrible pick, Lewis. Go back to the drawing board. Do it again.
That was
Um,
the one with Keaton in it, right? Michael Keaton.
yes, he was in the first two, and then it was Val Kilmer did one, and then George Clooney, and they rebooted it with Christian Bale, and then they rebooted it again with Ben Affleck, and they rebooted again with Robert Pattinson. Of course, Adam West. Adam West is still awesome, so we'll go with Adam West. Um, my last pick is a movie a lot of people don't know, and I think we're going to be talking about it really soon. It's from 1982. It's called The Last American Virgin, and not it's one of those things where this even the soundtrack wasn't that popular, which blows my mind because the amount of artists on here. Listen to this lineup of artists on here: Journey, REO Speedwagon, The Cars, Blondie, Devo, The Police, The Human League. All heavy hitters.
Right.
I don't remember anything that I don't know if they just didn't have the money to release a proper soundtrack, if they could only get the rights for the movie but not to put it on a soundtrack. I'd love to know what happened on that because that soundtrack should have been huge. Um, but we'll talk about the movie later. But in terms of a hidden gem on the soundtrack, this is a song I don't even hear anymore. It's credited to actually Quincy Jones, but the singer on it is James Ingram, and it's a song, it's a ballad called "Just Once,"
Mm.
and it is a fantastic, fantastic, fantastic song. I think it's just as good as anything, if not better than anything on that soundtrack. Um, just an amazing song, and it's one of those songs you never hear it. You never hear it played anywhere, and I don't know why. It doesn't get the love it deserves, but check it out. Go on YouTube. Just Once, James Ingram or Quincy Jones, depending upon what it's going to show up under, and just revel in the beauty that is James Ingram's voice. And it's a great, great song, fantastic ballad, and perfect for a slow dance on the gym floor of your eighth grade class or something. I don't know.
I can't even remember that far. I do recognize
Oh,
the song though.
do you recognize the song?
I do, and it is a really cool tune. It's I think it's very moving, and if I remember where they placed it in the movie, it's very apropos. So yeah, I do remember the tune. I absolutely remember the tune.
Oh
Yeah,
wow,
I'm going like linguistics crazy today over here, man.
wow, research and vocabulary.
Easy for you to say.
What?
That's easy for you to say.
Yeah, I know. Barely. All of a sudden, I had like a mini stroke. Okay, yeah. So, thanks,
All
dude.
good. All good.
Appreciate it. Nobody would have noticed until you had to point that out, probably, but you pointed it out. Um, yeah, that's a great. Again, there are so many these songs, especially on these soundtracks. But I'd love to know why that soundtrack wasn't popular. I don't even remember if you could purchase it at the time. I don't remember ever seeing it. I'm sure you can download it now or just download the songs. And there were a ton of songs that were in that movie that were so fantastic. And we're going to talk about the movie soon, but Yeah, just once. If one person puts in the comments that they listened to it and they enjoy, well, hopefully they enjoyed it, but at least we exposed it to them, I would be very happy.
Awesome, awesome. Yeah, you're right. I mean, that the name of Who's Who, right, from the '80s. Everybody that you named, REO Speedwagon, Journey. Gosh, um,
The
you wonder.
waitresses, the cars,
Yeah, you
Tommy
totally
Two
wonder.
Tone. Tommy Two Tone had a song in there. That's
Wow.
when Tommy Two Tone was pretty big still. It was 1982, but we'll talk about that some other time. Um, Good job today, Lou. I'm very pleased with you. I got a lot of different looks here, a lot of different some info. Like I know now I know that the guy from Three Dog Night sang Nick Kershaw. I would have never known that. That's the kind of stuff that you're bringing to the table, and I hope it's appreciated. It's appreciated by me.
Whapa.
Yeah. I think axe throwing has changed you permanently. I think something about the masculinity of the axe throwing re-triggered your brain, and and now you're just like this mad Viking. Sorry, Ingve. That's ready to go out and do damage, and it's changed you. And I think it's for the better. I want to just say that.
Excellent. Yes, I have more facial and chest hair because of the axe throwing.
Cool. All right. Anything you want to add before we call this a night or afternoon?
No, I had one that I was going to go rogue on, but that was left as a backup, so I will leave that one for another time.
Wow. All right. Well, thanks for stealing my top pick too. I really appreciate that one, especially since you discovered it like 2 hours before we started recording. I love that. I can't tell you how many times I've listened to that song. Go, my God, this is such a great Cheap Trick song. And to have it thwarted from me, from my clutches, by somebody that just discovered it, it hurt. It hurt. It cut deep.
And it's funny, John, because I was thinking I should really leave that one maybe towards the middle or towards the end because it's probably my favorite pick out of all of them. But I thought, no, he just talked about Top Gun, so why don't I go ahead and just slip it right in now?
Yeah, I even wore this shirt as a tribute to the Top Gun soundtrack featuring Cheap Trick and Mighty Wings. All right. Well, thank you, brother. Hey, guys, we appreciate it as always. You watching, please hit the like button, hit the subscribe button. If there's a hidden gem that we missed that you think we need to know about, please put it in the comments. We always love to read them. And you guys turn us on to some new stuff as well. So we always appreciate that. And thank you guys as always for the support. We'll be back next week. I think talking about a movie that we already talked about here today. But ooh, spoilers or foreshadowing. See, I can pull out big words too, Lewis. Foreshadowing, look at that. All right. Thank you guys as always. Lewis, brother, take us out.
Peace out.
Thank you guys.